We will discuss regarding secondary and tertiary structure prediction of the protein and some biological databases. Okay, so let's begin. So as you all know that the protein is made up of the amino acid sequences. Okay, so the primary structure of the protein is what it is the sequence of amino acid chain. Okay, so this is called as the primary protein structure. Okay, the only the amino acid sequence is called as the primary protein structure. Okay, then when this amino acid sequence get take some kind of structure like alpha helix in this kind of helix or this kind of seeds. Okay, so then it is called the secondary structure. Okay, so like what is the secondary structure of the protein? It is hydrogen bonded peptide backbone that causes the amino acid to fold into a repeating pattern. Okay, so that is called the alpha helix or beta seed. Apart from these two major secondary structure, there are turns and loops also. Okay, once this secondary structure is formed, the next hierarchy of the protein structure is the tertiary structure of the protein. Okay, so this is the tertiary structure of the protein, or we can say like three-dimensional structure of the protein. It is because when this kind of alpha beta seed and alpha helix interacting with each other while via their side chain of the amino acid. Okay, so when the side chain of the amino acid is interacting, they create one particular fold. So this kind of structure is called the tertiary structure of the protein. Okay, and when two tertiary structure folded properly, it make the quaternary structure of the protein. Okay, or more than two we can say. Okay, so this is the hierarchy of the protein. In first we are having the only the amino acid sequence, which is called the primary protein structure. In the secondary protein structure, hydrogen bonding of the peptide backbone causes the amino acid to fold into a repeating pattern. It can be either alpha helix, beta seed, or turn loops like that. Once this secondary structure is formed via the side chain interaction, it get properly folded into the tertiary structure of the protein. And then finally when two tertiary structure interacting with each other, they create one quaternary fold. Okay, so that is called as the quaternary structure of the protein. Okay, so to identify the functional role of the protein, you have to predict or you have to determine the tertiary structure of the protein or the folded form of the protein. Then only you can find out the functional characteristic of particular protein. Okay, so in via experimentally you can via crystallography, via cryo-EM, or via NMR, you can identify the three-dimensional structure of the protein. But when you identify means the when you are not having the experimental data, that time you have to apply some bioinformatics tool to identify the secondary and tertiary structure of any kind of protein. Okay, so the secondary structure of the protein prediction is basically done by major three algorithm. First one is the Chow-Feldman algorithm. So this algorithm is basically based upon the propensity of the amino acid value for forming any kind of secondary structure like the helix, strand, or turns. Okay, and it is based on the sequence information. The primary sequence of the protein is based on the primary sequence. It will predict the helix, strand, turn in the particular protein. Okay, particular given protein I can say. The next method is the GOR method. Okay, so this method is basically based upon the frequency of amino acid residue in different secondary structural element like the alpha helixes, beta strand, and turns within a known structure of the protein. Here the structure is not known, but here the it will predict the secondary structure based on the frequency of amino acid present in particular means known protein structures. Okay, so this method calculate the probability of amino acid at a certain position, and it will being part of a specific secondary structure based on the frequency of neighboring amino acid residue in known structures. Okay, so it will depend upon some known structure of the protein. Okay, whereas this Chow-Feldman algorithm is depend on the propensity of the amino acid. Okay, and the third method is the machine learning method. It utilizes the machine learning algorithm to find out the secondary structure which is extracted from the protein sequence, and sometimes it will tell the additional information like the evolutionary profiles or sequence profiles. Okay, so this is all about the secondary structure prediction. Then tertiary structure prediction is also done by majorly three types. First one is the homology modeling, which is majorly preferred and it is most reliable because it is template dependent. Okay, so when you are having proper close homologue of homologous protein, that time you will apply this homology modeling for creating your own protein structure. Okay, and it is possible only when the template is available. Okay, so once suppose your template is not available, that time it doesn't mean like you can't predict the tertiary structure of the protein. That time also you can predict, but by using threading approach or by the ab initio approach. Okay, so in I will take the pen. Okay, so in threading approach, what you have to do is like it will firstly it is more or less the homology modeling, but in homology modeling you concentrate only one single template which is having the higher similarity with your query protein. Okay, but in case of the threading method, the template is present as a varying range. Okay, you are not concentrated upon a single template. It search all the databases. How it perform, like suppose this is your protein sequence, so it will break down this sequence into little fragments, and each fragment is searched in a big protein databases, and wherever this fragment is found homologous to any kind of protein structure, it will predict the this particular fragment structure according to that match. Okay, so this is the threading approach. In case of the ab initio method, what it does is it is not depending upon like similarity or any kind of closeness. It will basically, what will do in this algorithm is it will randomly predict one protein structure, and it by mathematical tool or by by physics and chemistry algorithm, what it will look into it, that is it will generate energy minimized structure of the protein. Okay, suppose this firstly it will create this kind of structure which is not energy minimized or lower energy, because you all know that the protein occupy those kind of conformation which is having the very less energy. Okay, or consume very less energy. So it will randomly predict some structure, and it will check like it is properly energy minimized or not. Okay, so in these three methods, the most preferable method is the homology modeling, because it is most reliable, because you are having some template to cross check your data. Okay, in these two cases, ab initio is very rare method, because here your template is not known, so you don't know like whatever you are getting that is correct or not. Okay, so this is all about the tertiary structure prediction. Then some biological databases, if we will see why we need the biological databases. If you want to check the any functional characteristic, any evolutionary relationship between the proteins, and any conserved motif, any domains within the protein, that time you need the databases. Okay, so it is a collection of biological data arranged in a computer readable form that enhance the speed of search and retrieval, and it is convenient to use. Okay, so this type of databases is called the biological databases. Obviously it is related to the biomolecules, then only it is called as the biological databases. Okay, and a good databases should be updated regularly. Okay, the information should be updated regularly. Okay, then there are different type of biological databases. First one is the primary databases, secondary databases, and derived databases. Okay, so what is the primary databases? Primary databases are derived basically from the direct experimental results. Okay, so whatever experiment you have performed and whatever result you got, that is um, that is put into the primary databases. Okay, it either be nucleotide sequence databases, and it can be protein sequence databases, or it can be also protein structure databases. Okay, because yeah, so the in case of the nucleotide databases, what will be the example, like GeneBank, DDBJ, EMBL. Okay, and in case of protein sequence databases, there is SwissProt, PIR, GenePept. Okay, and in case of the protein structure databases, that is the PDB. Okay, PDB is the majorly primary databases. Here I have shown you in the secondary databases, because it is yeah, before that I will tell like what is secondary databases. So secondary databases, which is derived from the analysis of primary databases. Okay, once you submitted your result into primary databases, then based upon some analysis, whatever result you will get, that will submitted into the secondary databases. Okay, so PDB also come under the secondary databases, but majorly it is from primary databases. Okay, PDB is the nothing but it is the protein data bank. Okay, so whatever three-dimensional structure you predicted via crystallography, NMR, or via cryo-EM, that is submitted into the protein data bank. Okay, then EBIMSD and MMDB, these all are the protein structure based databases. Okay, so secondary structure databases is another one, is the domain and motif databases, which is the major secondary structure databases I can say, because second here the secondary databases, what information you want to you want. So you wanted to like identify the domain and motif in particular protein. Okay, so that you can only identify by the use of primary databases. Okay, so that's why this is the domain and motif databases. So the example of domain and motif databases is ProCite, Blocks, and Cog. Okay, and another type of databases is the derived databases. So derived databases is nothing but when you analyze both primary and secondary databases, that time you will get the derived databases. Okay, the results you got from primary database analysis and secondary database analysis, that submitted into the derived databases. So in derived databases, again there is structure based databases, there is gene expression based databases, some metabolic pathway based databases, and specialized databases. Okay, so in structure based databases, there is a scope and cath. Okay, so you have to remember like these two is from the derived databases. Okay, and for gene expression databases, there is GO, GXD, MGED, and metabolic pathway databases is CAG, PathDB, EMP. and another one is the specialized database, that is the TGI, GSOB and GPCRD. These are the example of all kind of databases. Okay, so in this table many questions have been asked in the previous year of the GATE. So we will look in upcoming slide what kind of question they asked. Okay, so little bit I will give some little bit more information about these databases. Okay, so firstly the motive databases. Okay, so because in the primary databases we know that this is the nucleotide sequence databases is present. Okay, in these three, and here in this only protein sequence databases is present. Okay, and in these three protein structure is deposited. Okay, so now the domain and motive databases we will talk about more. Okay, so what is the motive? Motive is a set of conserved amino acid sequence. Okay, it is the conserved amino acid sequence. Suppose you are having same family protein, so there is a conserved amino acid protein pattern. Okay, and this conserved amino acid sequence is important for the protein function of particular family. Okay, so and it is located within a certain distance from one another. Okay, and this motif usually provide clue to the function of uncharacterized protein. Okay, suppose you are having sorry sorry so suppose you are having two proteins. Okay, like these two proteins. Okay, and both belongs to the same family. Okay, so how you will know like these two belong to the same family? By seeing the sequence level. Okay, suppose you find out some motif. Okay, in this stage in certain position you find out one motif. So in already known protein this motif is present. So when you align these two protein sequence, you also found out that the same motif is also present in this protein, the unknown protein. Okay, so then you can say like these two protein belong to the same family, and these two is having the same function because of it possesses the same motif. Okay, so this is all about the motif and what kind of databases through which we can find out the motif. So the major databases is the ProCyte. Okay, it consists of documentation entries describe the protein domains, family and functional site as well as associated pattern and profile to identify them. Okay, and another one is the print is a database of protein fingerprint. A fingerprint is a group of conserved motif used to characterize the protein family. Okay, so yeah, fingerprint is nothing but it is a kind of motif, means sequence pattern. Okay, means each family is having their unique sequences or unique motifs. So through print you can identify the motif region, or through ProCyte also you can identify the motif as well as the domain. Okay, then the Swiss prot is generally a very well organized protein sequence databases. Okay, and it integrated with other databases. It is having very low level of redundancy, and because in general what we have seen in primary databases is there is lots of redundancy. Okay, because there is only the sequence level thing is there. Okay, so that's why there is lots of redundancy. So but Swiss prot is exceptional. It is having very low level of redundancy and it is very well organized. Okay, so through which you can identify the protein function, because here the high level annotation of protein is there. Okay, the another one is the TREMBL. Okay, so TREMBL is a computer annotated supplement of Swiss prot that contain all translation of EMBL nucleotide sequence entries which is not yet integrated in the Swiss prot. Okay, then we are having the protein data bank. Okay, so it is a kind of secondary database. It is a repository of the three majorly primarily, but it also comes under the secondary database. Okay, so it is the repository of the three-dimensional structure of the protein, which is identified by the X-ray crystallography, NMR spectroscopy, and as well as the cryo-EM. Okay, then yeah, then another one is the geo, which is derived databases. Okay, so here gene expression omnibus is a online resources. It is a gene expression molecular abundance repository for gene expression data browsing, query and retrieval. Okay, another one is the pfam. PFAM is very popular secondary database which recognize conserved protein domain. Okay, it identify the domains within a protein sequence. Okay, like ProSite, it also identify the domains. Okay, the next one is the structural classification of protein, which is SCOPE. Okay, so SCOPE database is largely manual classification of the protein structural domain based on the similarity of their structure and amino acid sequences. Okay, so it is also very well organized, and based on the like percent, how many percent of alpha helix is present, the protein is dominant or beta seed dominant, or both is having the same percentage. This kind of structural classification is done by scope. Okay, so it also determine the evolutionary relationship between the protein. Okay, by seeing the structure of the protein. Okay, like suppose if two protein is having same kind of secondary structure and same kind of folding, then you can tell like these two protein is more similar to each other and they come from the same kind of ancestor. Question is an example of derived protein structure databases is. Okay, here it is asking derived protein structure database. Okay, so we know that this PFAM we have seen in as a secondary database. This is nothing but the protein family. Okay, here PFAM, it is the popular secondary databases. Okay, here in the question it is asking about the derived protein structure databases. Okay, so PFAM will be not the correct answer. Then scope. Okay, so scope we know that it is the derived protein structure databases. Okay, because here if you will see scope, okay, it is the derived protein structure databases. Okay, it will tell you like proteins structure, secondary structure. Basically if you will see like how much alpha helix is present, how much beta set is present, what kind of alpha helix beta set folding is there, this kind of information comes under the structural databases of scope. Okay, so here if you will carefully look, geo is also coming under the derived databases, but it is nucleotide or DNA based gene expression omnibus it is. So it is the gene expression omnibus, which is a repository of the gene expression. Okay, and in the question it is asking about the protein structure. Okay, so this will be also not correct answer. Okay, PFAM also not correct answer, and ProSite is nothing but it is also secondary database, and it tells you about the domain and motif. Okay, but the protein secondary structure is telling about by the scope database. Okay, structural classification of protein is the correct answer of this question. Okay.